New report. General Stanley McChrystal says U.S. needs new Afghanistan strategy. The U.S. strategy in Afghanistan is not working. The commander of U.S. and NATO forces in Afghanistan has written in a long-anticipated report. The report looks likely to lead to more debate and more hand-wringing over the U.S.-led mission in Afghanistan, as Western forces endure their deadliest year to date and the increasing war against the Taliban insurgency. U.S. Army General Stanley McChrystal's report was being sent to U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, according to media reports. In the report, General McChrystal is said to have likened the U.S. military to a raging bull charging at a matador, the Taliban, a little weakened with each cut it receives. The general's blunt assessment will also say that the Afghan people are undergoing a crisis of confidence because the war against the Taliban has not made their lives any better. Perhaps it's made it even worse, one correspondent said. And they are tired of ongoing war, year after year, decade after decade. General McChrystal says the aim should be for Afghan forces to take the lead, but their army will not be ready to do that for at least 3 years, if ever, and it will take much longer for the police. And he has warned that villages have to be taken from the Taliban, but not just merely taken, but also held. According to the BBC, this new report does not mention increasing the troops in Afghanistan. Under President Obama, U.S. troops in Afghanistan are set to rise to nearly 70,000, even as U.S. forces are drawn down in Iraq. President Obama has said the forces are needed to stabilize Afghanistan, if possible, but not likely, and better train the Afghan police and military to take on the Taliban insurgency. But critics say that by escalating the conflict, yes, more escalation, and somehow hoping that the poorly trained, corrupt, ill-equipped Afghans can take over security anytime soon, the U.S. risks being drawn into a quagmire. Again, the U.S. risks being drawn into a quagmire, just like Vietnam, but perhaps worse. McChrystal, tapped to take charge of the Afghanistan mission in June, will suggest in his report a completely revised strategy for the war there, whatever that may be. Since taking command, General McChrystal has adjusted the focus of Western forces from hunting down insurgents and just killing them to trying to protect the Afghan population, borrowing in part from U.S. tactics in Iraq developed under CENTCOM commander General David Petraeus. His report or review is expected to suggest concentrating forces in more heavily populated areas and also stepping up efforts to train, somehow, more Afghan soldiers and police, and at what cost. McChrystal commands more than 100,000 NATO troops, including 63,000 Americans, approximately 10,000 reinforcements, including 5,000 more Americans, are set to arrive in Afghanistan by year's end. More escalation of the Afghanistan war. On Saturday, British Prime Minister Gordon Brown made a surprise visit to Helmand province in southern Afghanistan. the site of a NATO campaign against the Taliban this summer. And during the visit, he also promised to send more equipment and speed up training of Afghan government forces. Helmand Province is one part of Afghanistan but still largely under Taliban control, and as the most violent and dangerous Afghan province. Some polling stations did not even operate, and many residents could not participate in the August 20th elections. And also, about 90% of the world's heroin supply comes from Afghanistan, and 2/3 of that is from the Helmand Province. So, more war than ever before, increasing, more escalation of this war. And how could this war possibly end up? How much longer will it take? It's already been going on for 8 years, but now it's going on almost 9 years. When will this war end? Yes, again, how will it win? And how will it end? And what is there to win? There's something bigger going on here. Something much more. Real change must happen. And these more signs are the end times transition days. An ongoing transition that is happening every day in so many different ways all around the world and increasing.